I ain't wearing my Tyler Perry wig, but anywho, just realize I want my Tyler Perry wig. Okay, today we're gonna talk about Tyler Perry's new movie Straw. It is gonna be a whole bunch of spoiler alerts. So if you ain't seen a movie and you don't want it to be spoiled, do not click on it, do not watch it. I love the name Straw. It reminds me like Swarm. I didn't watch Swarm, but it reminds me like that type of title. I like titles like that. It's so much. I don't even know where to start. It's so much. I'll be all over the place. Okay. When it started good when they were showing like the ramen noodles and the eviction notice. Like it felt like attention to detail, which Tyler don't necessarily usually do. So I was like, okay, he's showing little aesthetics, pleasing stuff, okay, or aesthetic, stuff to let you know what's going on. By not saying nothing, I like that. When this was going on, I was like, okay, this gonna be. I watched the trailer, but I watched it not with the sound because I was multitasking, so I didn't watch it with the sound. But I watched the trailer. When I seen the trailer, I was like, oh, this feel like a John Wick type. I said John Wick, child. Ooh, dyslexia, a John Q type of thing. I was like, okay, it feel like a little John Q, which I like, a little John Q type feel. I like that. So I was like, okay. And then as the movie was going, I was like, okay, this might be one of his better movies as it was going. But I said this within the first 5 minutes, and then as soon as she shot her boss, I was like, oh, this is going downhill. As soon as she shot the boss, I said, oh, this is going downhill, hun. I was like, what is going on? As soon as she shot the boss, I said, oh, this is too dramatic. There's too much going on. Like, geez Louise. I'm like, this is too off the rocker. I'm like, geez. Okay, after that happened, I was like, okay, this is too much. And then she went on, obviously took over in the bank, and then she pulled out. When the daughter was behind her walking, she was like, oh, I wish I had a clear backpack. I want a clear backpack. But then later on, Taraji had a clear backpack. So I didn't understand that. But she was saying she wanted a clear. I don't understand. Did Taraji go get the clear backpack? Because why did she mention the clear backpack when she had a clear backpack? But did she say, I want the clear backpack because Taraji took the backpack for herself and took it? I don't know. We didn't see her go get a clear backpack. So I don't know. The daughter said she wanted a clear backpack. But then we seen the clear backpack. Then I'm about to fast forward to the end. So spoiler alert. At the end of the movie, they said the daughter that had died the night before. And I'm like, then this whole thing is pointless. She kept mentioning her daughter, which I didn't get that he was trying to change it up from John Q and be like, she just snapped. She lost her daughter and she's just snapped. But I think it would have been better if he would have just kept it without trying to be like, ooh, look, her daughter really been not alive this whole time. But it would have been better if her daughter was alive. So we can be like, okay, she did this for an actual reason. Like, she was actually struggling. She needed medicine for her daughter. She needed food for her daughter. She needed a place to stay for her daughter. But that it didn't even exist no more. And people was rooting for her because they thought she had a daughter and was trying to provide for her daughter. And then everybody was rooting for her. But it's like, once the daughter didn't exist, it felt pointless. I'm not gonna lie, it felt pointless to me. It's like, okay, what? It just felt pointless, and I was like, okay. And then too, was a couple of things. I was like, what? I mean, that's why the teacher waved. That's why the teacher was looking like that again. She waved, and because she wasn't nobody there, she just opened the door, but nobody waving at nobody because wasn't nobody there. So the teacher was looking crazy. And it's been movies like this where the person thinks somebody right there, but the person ain't really right there, or they make it seem like it's a character, but ain't nobody there. It's just them, or usually it's just them. Yeah, I mean, it's like they doing the bad action, but they make it seem like the other person doing the bad action. It's a lot of movies like that. I can't name them off the top of my head, or I can think of a couple, but I don't know the names of them. Like the one with J-Lo and Viola Davis, that movie, that was one person. And then it's a movie on BET with the dude that was Ralph Tresvant and New Edition on BET. I mean, yeah, the about it, whatever that was, child. He started the movie on BET, and he was one person, but it makes sense like it's another person. Okay, and this other, a whole bunch of other movies like that. So I get the concept, but I feel like he was just trying to do too much with it. It would have been better to me because it would have all made more sense, and you wanted to rally behind her more. Then the ending where she was driving off in the car, that felt like John Key for sure. She was driving off in the car, and everybody had the signs for her, but it didn't make no sense because then too the cop thing was so over the top and dramatic. The cop run over and I'll get you, and if I see you again, I'ma do this. I'ma lie to you. It just got a little too dramatic and chaotic. I was like, can we just be a little simple? Like I said, the ending just made you. The ending too, it got a little. I don't personally love movies based really in one setting. Obviously, this movie had other settings, but it was one main setting, which was the bank. It would have been better to me if she would have robbed a grocery store. Like, she snapped and actually robbed the grocery store without the robbers coming in. She just held the gun and robbed the grocery store, and then everybody was held up in there. That would have made more sense to me, because people it would have made more sense, and the rally behind her would have made more sense, because this boss is giving such a hard time when you're just trying to do, and the daughter had to be alive in this scenario. So if you snap into place where the person is giving you a hard time because all you wanted was your check, and if you would have snapped in, that would have made more sense. I feel like he be trying to be too dramatic with it instead of keeping it simple. Like I said in the last duplicity, keeping it simplicity. He would have just kept it more simple. I think it would have been better, but whatever. It was cool. I think a lot of times movies get ruined when people try to do too much and make too many twists and turns, and I gotta get a gotcha moment. But it would have been more understandable if it was like an actual human she was actually fighting for, and not just her snapping. Because her daughter died. I mean, yeah. It didn't make sense because the two cops, Tiana Taylor and the other cop, they was talking to a friend in the grocery store after she shot the boss and stuff, and the cops came to the grocery store, and she was like, look, she has a daughter, this, but the daughter, did she not know the daughter wasn't, this is the only thing that makes sense. She had to not know that the daughter passed last night. That was the only thing that makes sense, because she was speaking of her daughter in present tense, and this wasn't imagined, this was real, because Taraji's character wasn't there. Janae, I remember her name Janae because they kept saying it throughout, it made me remember. So she must have not told nobody. She must not nobody had to know. I guess only the mama knew, but then she was acting like she didn't have nobody when she was robbing the bank, and she was talking to Shepherd character. She was like, well, I don't have nobody, but her mama called at the end, and she was like her mama and her sister crazy or whatever, and then her mama was there, so her mama couldn't help her. Like, she was struggling, so her mama couldn't help at all. Like, and it wasn't like her mama wasn't there. Her mama was there. It looked like she was in a apartment. She was being struck all this time, but her mama couldn't help. And then they were trying to say she a good person because she gave money to the home man when she had no money, but that just ain't smart to do. People be getting their last to the church, but you don't have no money. Like, that don't make no logical sense. Because the church probably gonna be good. You ain't gonna be good. And two, the whole movie, I didn't really feel anything. I don't know what it was. It ain't Taraji because she's a good actor. All the people in it was, good actors. I just didn't feel, I don't know why I didn't feel that the whole time. That's very strange. Because John Q was very emotional. All these other movies be very emotional when people be struggling this. But for some reason, I didn't get emotional. I don't know what it was. Then, they had all the black women in the bank. They had all the black women in the bank. Because I guess, what I'm saying? Then obviously Tiana Taylor was the black female cop, so they wanted to say, this is black women supporting black women and understanding the struggle and all this stuff, which I get. But when Sherry Shepherd was on the phone, when they first were telling her, the lady wanted to tell us whatever, push the button, and she was in her office, Sherry Shepherd was in her office on the phone, and they was telling her, like, yeah, somebody riding the bank, describe the person, I would have been walking towards the door. I would just, got fired, honey. I would have walked towards the door as I'm talking, let them know what's going on, because I'm out of here, honey. I'm not staying in here. I got to go, and y'all would just have to fire me or write me up or whatever, but I'm going, honey. Then, because when she tried to tell everybody, they over dramatic, then they let Janae know what was going on, and then, I don't know why they didn't go. When she first said, so, we being robbed, she said it, and they just all stood there. I know they was older, but they all stood there. Then later on, the husband and wife, older couple, left out while she had the gun, but they could have been left. Then the other lady, I guess, she had diabetes, and she was tired, so maybe she was just fragile and didn't run out. But, and then the dude gonna attack her, wasn't successful, then gonna run out, and the security guard gonna run out. How you the security guard run out? I know I said if I was the manager, I would have ran out, but that's different than the security. You supposed to be staying. He gonna run out and leave everybody. I said, oh yeah, his job is no longer there, huh? You're fired. And then two, the girl, I don't know why why he wrote this in, why the girl went live. I guess he thought live was better than the news, but I don't know why she went live or whatever on her phone when the bank had cameras, so they could see already what she was doing because the bank had cameras and they tapped into the cameras. So I don't understand why she also recorded. And too, the TV was on in the bank and they was watching the news and you could see her on the news, but they ignored that part where you could see her on the news because at the end they seen everybody supporting her with the Janae, posters, or they understand and Brooke was rooting for her. They seen everybody with her outside with the posters. So she seen that on the news. And at the beginning, she saw that they said she was robbing the bank. And she was like, I don't know why y'all think I'm trying to rob the bank. I got this gun and pulled it out and set it on her, but I don't know why y'all think I'm trying to rob the bank. I just want 521. I don't know why I remember the number. I just want my 521 for my check. And you give me all this money. I don't want all that. And then she said she tried to take the money when the other dude was driving the grocery store. How he even get back there? And how, when you think of robbing a place, you think about robbing the back of a grocery store? Whatever. But anywho, what, the bank was right across the street. He robbed it. Like, I get why they thought that was set up. Because what? How he get back there? Why he back there? Why all of a sudden when you got the money out counting, he back there? It didn't make no sense, hon. But anywho, when she was like, I need this money for me. I need this money for me. But she wasn't talking about the check. She was talking about the money. But then she ended up leaving all the money there when she shot everybody. But you left the money there. And the other dude booked it. He said, I don't even know why he was at the robbery. Because he was standing all the way behind him. The other dude that robbed him that didn't get shot that ran off. He was standing all the way behind the other dude. Child, why are you even there? He didn't need you. You could have been in the car, warming the car up, having the engine on, honey. Because what? But you didn't do nothing. You were standing all the way back, didn't do a thing. You was not needed. And you didn't shoot. So what was your point of you being there? He probably gonna get away scot-free. They so focused on her and her going what she got to do. And too, she knew the camera was there. But I guess she's trying to say she was snapped, so she wasn't thinking straight. But she knew the camera was there. And she knew the cameras at the bank, but she waited for a while to say turn the cameras off. Or try to unplug everything, which I don't know if that's how it worked. But try to unplug everything, and then they said the lady was recording it, and it was on the news. But they was watching the TV on the news, but then she just didn't see that part. And then too, the lady had the camera facing where you could see this already recording. Like, she didn't flip it around to where you could see. You just look like a phone sitting there, but she had it where you could see yourself. I was like, it was just a lot going on. Overall, the movie was cool. I think it would have been better if it was tweaked, because it just felt like too dramatic. And too, I didn't feel nothing the whole time. I don't know why that is. That I didn't feel nothing. I didn't even think about why I didn't feel anything. I don't know if, like I said, the acting was cool. I don't know if it felt too dramatic for me. Once she shot the balls, it felt too dramatic. And then too, once you figure out the daughter was, because John Q, you felt something the whole time, but you really felt something towards the end when he about to shoot himself, because he was like, look, my son need a heart. And then when he was talking to him at the hospital, they let him talk to him at the hospital, when he was telling him, look, I'm going to be gone, but do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. But it just would have been better if the daughter was actually alive. It just made it pointless to me. And I get the point of it was to say she lost her daughter, so she just snapped. But it just all became pointless because all the money and everything needed was pointless. And that's why the lady put your pills out there, because the daughter wasn't there. But see, did the lady know the daughter wasn't there? She couldn't have knew the daughter, because she wouldn't put that lady out if she knew. Well, maybe she would have, because she was talking to the cops crazy too. She wouldn't have put her out if, she knew her daughter passed. So obviously she didn't know. Did the daughter pass, but the mama didn't come to the hospital or come to her house to help her? I'm just so confused. Surely mama did mean something if they went to go get her and she called and she answered like mama. I guess she was trying to say maybe she already talked to her mama. That's why maybe she was shocked that the mama was calling. Then somebody I ain't robbing. It's a misunderstanding. Girl, you pulled the gun out at a bank. How is there a misunderstanding? She was just acting so crazy the whole time. Like she couldn't understand. Like she wasn't doing nothing wrong. I'm like, girl. Then at the end, she imagined that she got shot by the cops. But then, I guess that was just, maybe she thought it through. Like maybe I should just get shot by the cops. But then maybe I'm not, because I'm changing my mind. Then Sherry Shepherd being good, gonna walk out. Then they told Sherry Shepherd that her daughter passed. They told, hey, her daughter just passed last night. They knew all that information, but I don't know. That's why she was looking so baffled, I guess. And that's why she initially felt sorry for her, because she lost her daughter. That's why she went cuckoo. They had the other girl in it, which is understandable. The other girl being mad, they were trying to make it seem like she was being dramatic, but she held the gun. She was the one she held the gun on first, so she had a right to be upset. They were trying to make it seem like, oh, yeah, you not supporting her. You doing this. But she did have a right to be upset. She was doing too much, yes, but it wasn't like she wasn't being, y'all was being held up. Like, it wasn't like y'all wasn't being held up. You know what I'm saying? And if she was to snap on anybody, she definitely would have snapped on her, for sure. Then too, like I said, it would have been better if they just would have made it normal. Like, she helped the dude, or even if she didn't end up killing the dude, the fact that she killed somebody, not the robber, the boss, it's like, now she's just gonna be in jail for life. And what? I would have liked to see, like, you know, the daughter still been alive, and then Sherry Shepherd actually taking her like they said, and then her coming to visit her. That would have been cool. And her not killing nobody, because then she gonna be in jail forever. But at least, you know, if she just, the other situation happened and she didn't, you know, shoot anybody, then maybe, you know, well, I guess she could plead temporary insanity. I don't know how that works. And then maybe be in the crazy home or something. I don't know how that gonna work. But yeah, that's all I got. Overall, it was cool. I was expecting more of a John Q feel, which I think that's maybe what he did on purpose. He wanted people to think that he in a John Q, and then wanted to change it up so much, but it would have been cooler to stick more to that type of feel, because it just would have been better to me personally instead of her doing whatever. I don't know, the last straw, but it was cool. It wasn't bad. It seemed like he did pay a little more to details as far as how he shot it. Like I said, especially like the beginning. And I like the name. Straw is a really good name. Like, I really like names like that. Like Final Straw, the Last Straw. I really like that. It really, it made sense for the movie. I guess, even though the daughter wasn't alive, but anyway, yeah, that's cool. Oh, it was cool. It would have been better to me personally, like I said, if it was certain stuff changed, but then too, I kind of got a little bored, but I think because it was in one setting, it wasn't enough movement, it wasn't enough changing. It kind of felt like the same thing over and over. Her saying, y'all understand, and then Tiana Taylor character, yeah, we understand, and feeling bad for her, and yeah, okay, it was just a lot of that throughout. It wasn't enough ups and downs. As soon as she got to the bank, it kind of just was one note, but I mean, I guess it was cool. I kind of got bored and kind of was ready for it to be wrapped up. You know, you just want to see how the person writing it gonna end it. That's a big part of it. You want to see how they gonna end it. But then, yeah, cool. I feel like a lot of times he be falling off the ending. I feel like maybe he need more help with the ending the stories better. You know what I'm saying? Because ending play a big part in a movie. Like, an ending can make it really good, it can make it bad, or it can make it okay. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, whatever. Anywho, that's all I got. Bye.